1. Introduction. My name is Della. I want to tell you my story. It is a story about choices and about learning. When I was 18 years old, something big happened in my family. My mother, Clara, found a new man. His name was Dan. He was very charming. He always knew how to make people feel good. My mother was very happy with him. She had been alone for a long time. Dan made her laugh again. He brought a lot of joy into our home. I was happy for my mother. I wanted her to be happy. Dan and my mother decided to get married. After their wedding, Dan moved into our house. He became part of our daily life very quickly. He was a kind man. He often helped around the house. He cooked breakfast sometimes. He always asked me about my day. He gave advice like a good friend would do. He treated me with special attention. I thought he was just being a good stepfather. He was always there to help with things. He seemed like a very good person for our family. I started to notice small things. Sometimes I felt his eyes on me. He would look at me for what felt like too long. It was a strange feeling. I did not understand it. I tried to ignore it. I told myself it was just my imagination. I thought, he is my mother's husband. He is my stepfather. Why would he look at me like that? I tried to push these thoughts away. I wanted to believe he was only a kind and helpful man. I wanted to believe everything was normal, but the feeling did not completely go away. It was a small, quiet worry in my mind. Life continued in our house. My mother was happy. Dan was always there, and I kept telling myself that everything was fine and my feelings were just a mistake. I was young then, only 18, and I did not know much about the world. I trusted people easily. Dan seemed like a perfect addition to our small family. He was always smiling and ready to help. He took care of things around the house that my mother did not have time for. He fixed broken things and helped with gardening. My mother often said how lucky she was to have him. I agreed with her. He made our home feel complete in a way it hadn't for many years. He often told jokes at dinner, making us all laugh. He was good at making conversation. He seemed to care about everyone. He cared about my studies, my hobbies, and my future. He always asked about my plans. He listened carefully when I spoke. This made me feel important. It made me feel seen. This was a new feeling for me. I had not felt this way with my mother for a long time because she was always very busy with work. So Dan filled a space in our home and in my life. He was more than just a stepfather. He was a friend, a helper, and a listener. But still, those long looks sometimes made me feel uneasy. I tried to forget them. I really wanted to believe they meant nothing. I wanted to believe he was just a kind man, nothing more. I wanted to trust him completely. I wanted to feel safe. 2. A close friend. After I turned 18, I started university. It was a new and exciting time for me. My mother, Clara, was very busy with her work. She often worked long hours, sometimes staying out late. This meant she was not home much during the day or in the evenings. She was focused on her job to help our family. Dan, my stepfather, was very helpful during this time. He helped me with many things related to university. He gave me money for books and other study materials. He also drove me to school sometimes, especially if I had an early class. If I had a school project, he would sit with me and help me think about it. He was always there to talk and offer advice, making sure I felt supported. Because my mother was so busy, Dan and I spent a lot of time together at home. It was often just the two of us. He listened to me carefully when I talked about my day or my studies. He listened more than anyone else had ever listened before. He made me feel important and understood. He made me feel like he truly saw me and cared about my thoughts and feelings. One evening, I came home from university feeling very sad. I had failed a test that day, and I felt bad about it. Tears came to my eyes as I walked into the house. Dan saw me. He immediately came to me and offered comfort. He told me not to worry too much about one test. He said I was smart and that one bad grade did not mean I was not good at school. He spoke with a kind and gentle voice. As he talked to me, he gently took my hand. He held it. His hand stayed there for what felt like a long time. My heart started to beat faster in my chest. I felt a strange, new feeling inside me. I did not understand what this feeling was, but I did not pull my hand away from his. I let him hold it. In that quiet moment, something changed between us. It was a small change, but it was there. His touch felt different. It was not simply like a stepfather's touch. It was something else, something more. This was when our relationship began to move in a new direction. It was the start of a path I did not expect to take. I knew then that things between Dan and me were no longer just simple. They were becoming something more complicated, something I could not name yet. 3, our secret. After some months, Dan started to send me text messages. He sent them late at night when my mother was often asleep. At first, the messages were friendly. He asked about my day or wished me good night. But slowly, the words changed. They became more personal. He told me that I was beautiful. He also said that he understood me better than anyone else, even better than my own mother. His words made me feel special, but also very confused. He was my stepdad, but his messages made my heart beat fast. I started to think about him more and more. He was the only person who made me feel truly important. He seemed to know what I was thinking. This feeling was new and strong. I did not know what to do with it. Part of me felt it was wrong, but another part wanted to believe his words. Soon, we started meeting in secret. We would go to small cafes in the city, far from our house. He always told me not to tell my mother. He said she would not understand our special connection. I believed him. I thought our relationship was something unique and real. It felt like a secret world just for the two of us. This made me feel even more important to him. It was like we shared something nobody else knew. Because of these secret meetings, I began to lie to my mother. I told her I was going out with my friends when I was really going to meet Dan. Each time I told a lie, a bad feeling grew inside me. It was guilt. I felt bad for hiding things from my mother. She trusted me, and I was breaking that trust. But then, Dan's kind words would come back to my mind. He would tell me again how much he understood me or how special I was. His words were powerful. They always pulled me back to him, making me forget the guilt for a little while. I wanted to keep his attention. I wanted to keep feeling important to him, even if it meant living with a secret and telling lies. For a new love, my 21st birthday arrived. It was a day that changed everything. Dan gave me a special gift. It was a beautiful necklace. He said it was from him and not from my mother, Clara. This made me feel a little strange, yet important. Later that night, Dan spoke to me alone. He told me something that shocked me very much. He said he had strong feelings for me. I did not expect to hear such words from him. I was very surprised. For a few moments, I was quiet. My mind was full of thoughts. I could have said no. I could have walked away. I could have told him his words were wrong, but I did not do any of those things. Instead, I stayed and listened to him. I allowed myself to believe his words. He said that my mother, Clara, did not truly love him in the way that I could. He told me that he and I were meant to be together. He said we had a special connection that no one else could understand. He made me feel like I was the only person who truly saw him. I was very young then, only 21 years old. My heart felt confused. I wanted to believe everything Dan said. His words sounded like a beautiful story to me. He always made me feel important and special, even more so now. I thought he understood me. I believed every word he spoke. I began to think that this was real love, a deep and powerful feeling that I had never known before. Soon after, Dan told me his next plan. He said he wanted to leave my mother. He wanted to start a new life with me instead. He spoke about our future together. He said we could build a happy home, just the two of us. This news made me feel very torn. My mind was full of worry. I thought about my mother, Clara. I knew this decision would hurt her deeply. I cried for many nights, feeling sad and confused. I did not know what was the right thing to do. One part of me felt very guilty. My mother was a good woman. She had always loved and cared for me, but Dan's words were very strong and persuasive. He made me feel like he truly understood me. He made me feel like I was the only person who could make him happy. He promised me a future full of love and understanding. After many difficult thoughts and sad tears, I finally made a choice. I decided to choose Dan. I told myself that this was true love, and that true love was worth any sacrifice. I believed that we were meant to be together, just as he had said. It was a very big decision, and I knew it would change my life forever. I hoped I was making the right choice for my happiness. 5. Our wedding. I was 24 years old. Dan and I had been together in secret for some time. My mother still did not know about our relationship. One day, Dan told me he had started the legal process to divorce my mother, Clara. This was a very big step for him and for us. A few months later, after their divorce was finished and official, Dan asked me a very important question. He proposed to me. He asked me to marry him. I said yes to him. I felt a lot of excitement and happiness. I thought it was a very romantic moment, like something from a beautiful film. But then my mother found out about our plans. She learned that Dan and I were going to get married soon. When she heard the news, she was very, very sad. She started to cry a lot, and she also shouted. She told me that I had hurt her deeply in her heart. She said I had betrayed her trust and our family. I felt a bad pain inside me when she said these strong words. But I tried hard to not think about it too much. I tried to push all the bad feelings away from my mind. I wanted to believe that our love with Dan was strong and real. Many people did not like what we were doing. There was a big scandal around us. Some of my close friends stopped talking to me completely. Some people in our town said very mean words about me. They called me names like a homewrecker. It was very difficult to hear these things and to feel their judgment. I tried my best to ignore them and their harsh words. I told myself that love was much more important than what other people thought or said. I believed that true love was worth all the problems, the sad feelings, and the difficult comments. We decided to get married anyway, despite all the troubles. The wedding was very small and quiet. Only a few close people came to the ceremony. It was not a big party with many guests, like traditional weddings. We did not invite many people because of the sensitive situation. It was a calm day. I wore a simple white dress. Dan wore a smart suit. We stood together and said our wedding vows. We promised to be together always, through good times and bad. I hoped that everything would be okay after we were married. I wanted to start a new, happy life with Dan. I thought this was the right choice for me, and I deeply wanted to be happy with him. I believed strongly in our future together. It was a day that truly changed everything for me forever. 6. A different man. After the wedding, things changed fast. Dan was not the same man. The kind person I knew before disappeared. A new, difficult man took his place. He started to show a different side. This change made me feel confused and sad. I did not understand why. He became very controlling. He wanted to know everything I did. He often checked my phone without asking. He asked who I was talking to and read my messages. If I went out, he asked many questions. He wanted to know where I was going and when I would be back. He also decided who I could see. He did not want me to spend time with old friends. He said they were not good for me. This made me feel very alone. Dan also started to say mean things. He told me I was not smart enough to make my own choices. He said I could not do anything important without his help. He often compared me to my mother, but in bad ways. He said I had her bad habits. These words hurt me deeply. The man who once made me feel special now made me feel small and unimportant. I felt trapped in my own home. I started to understand something important, but also very painful. I realized his actions were not truly about love. They were about control. He did not want me to be happy or free. He wanted to tell me what to do. He wanted to make all my choices. This realization was a cold shock. I had believed his sweet words for so long. I thought he loved me. But now I slowly saw the harsh truth. Our house felt very different. It was not a happy place. It felt cold and silent most of the time. There was no joy. I often looked in the mirror. I saw a woman I did not recognize. My eyes looked sad and tired. My face showed worry. I had lost myself in this new life. I had lost the happy person I used to be. The man I thought I loved had taken away my happiness. This new life was not what I expected. I felt lost. 7, going back home. One night, Dan and I had a very bad fight. He yelled at me for a small thing. He said mean words, and I felt very scared and alone. I knew I could not stay in that house anymore. I had to leave. I quickly put on my shoes and ran out the door. I did not know where to go, but one place came to my mind, my mother's house. It was late, but I did not care. I just needed to go. I walked for a long time in the dark, my heart beating fast. Finally, I stood in front of my mother's door. My hands shook as I knocked. I knocked again, louder this time. I waited, but the door did not open. I could hear a sound inside, like someone moving, but my mother did not come to the door. I knew she was there. She did not want to see me. My eyes filled with tears, and I felt a deep sadness. I knocked again and again, but the door stayed closed. I started to cry loudly. I sat on the ground outside her door. "Please, Mom," I begged. "Please listen to me." I told her everything from the beginning. I told her how Dan slowly changed, how he made me feel special, then made me feel small. I told her I was only 18 when it started, and I was confused. I did not understand what love was. He told me things that were not true. He told me she did not love him. I was young and believed his words. After a long time, the door slowly opened. My mother stood there. Her face was tired and her eyes were full of pain. She looked at me for a long moment. Her voice was quiet but strong. "You broke my trust, Della," she said. "You took my husband." Her words were like a heavy stone in my heart. I knew she was right. I fell to my knees in front of her. "I am so sorry, Mom," I cried. "Please forgive me." It was the hardest night of my life. For the first time, I saw everything clearly. Dan had not loved me, he had controlled me. My mother did not hug me, and we did not fix everything that night. It was only the first step. But the door was open, and I was inside. We sat in silence for a long time. It was the start of a very long and difficult journey, but I knew I was finally home. 8. A new life. I decided to get a divorce from Dan. This was a very difficult time for me. Dan did not want me to leave him. He tried to stop me many times. He told me I would be nothing without him. He said I could not live alone. But his words did not have power over me anymore. I did not listen to him. I knew I had to be strong for myself. I found a good lawyer. The lawyer helped me with all the papers for the divorce. It was a long process. Many people in our town talked about me. They judged me for what I had done. They said mean things. This was hard to hear. Sometimes I felt very sad and ashamed. But I knew that ending the marriage was the right thing to do. I had made big mistakes, and I had to accept the results. After the divorce, I started going to therapy. This was a place where I could talk about my feelings. The therapist helped me understand many things. I learned about how Dan had controlled me. I learned about my own choices. Therapy helped me to heal inside. It was a slow process, but I felt better each week. I also worked hard to fix things with my mother. It was not easy. She was still hurt. I went to her house many times. I talked to her honestly. I told her how sorry I was for everything. I listened to her pain. Slowly, she started to forgive me. We spent time together. We cooked meals. We talked about small things. Our relationship began to get better little by little. This time in my life was a very hard lesson. When I was younger, I thought Dan's control was love. I was wrong. Now, I understand the real difference. Real love is free and kind. Control is not love. I learned to trust myself again. I learned to be truly independent. It was a new start for me, a chance to build a better life based on truth and real love. I was ready to live my own life in my own way.